guys, it's April with Cricut-Crafting with April. I want to talk about and show you guys how to size envelopes in Design Space 3 Beta. Here we have on our new project, I've inserted two squares just to show us our card sizes. This is an A2, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then we have the 5 by 7, which is one of the ones that are a little harder to size for. You can create your own envelopes, or you can search in the many images of Design Space. There are a ton of envelopes, and it's just easier to find one that will work for you in there. Let's just type in envelopes and search. Let's take the S off. Maybe it doesn't like that. I'm having to learn new search terms for Design Space 3. I could use that S. Okay, when sizing for an A2, usually any envelope will work. This is a free envelope, card set with box, envelope M4131B, as in boy. And that one will probably work. We're just going to select a few so that we have some choices. When you're doing a 5 by 7, envelopes like this with these big long tails, this is more for a square envelope. It's not going to work. You won't be able to size it and proportion it the way you need. Like I said, most all of them will work for an A2. 5 by 7 is where people come in with issues. We can select this one. Let's select this one. I'm just going to select a few to give you an idea about what will work and what will not work, and some of the things you can do to kind of force them to work. I've selected those. Let's come down here. I want to try to use access. Let's use our filter. And let's click on free. That gives us this one too. Let's do access. Okay. I just want to get maybe 1 or 2 more in there, just for examples. Let's try this one. And also this one. That gives us some different shapes. And we're going to insert them. It may take it a few minutes to load all of those envelopes, but it won't take as long as Design Space 2 used to take. Here they come. Okay, and we're just going to set these off to the side. And I'm going to show you, first of all, how we size for an A2. Here is your card size once it's folded, which is the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Of course, it's not going to fit in that envelope. It's just not big enough. So what we want to do is stretch it, and I am going to move that to the front. And if you don't have your card where you've been working on it, you just have an envelope file that you've saved. This one, I'm not saving it, I'm just using it, so it's going to say untitled. A lot of people have an envelope file. You can do that and save your A2 envelopes, your 5 by 7, and that way you've already got them and they're ready to go. Let's see, that doesn't want to move to the front. I've got so many layers. Now we can see that the envelope is too large. If you'll notice, this is my card, this white square. The green is my envelope. I need it to fit inside these dotted lines. So I am going to size that until my card fits. And it has a little bit of play. You don't want to give it much. I usually give mine about 0.25 or 1/4 inch. So that's going to be tight fitting in at the side. So I'm going to unlock it and stretch it just a little bit that way and close it in on the sides a little. There we go. And now my card has a little bit of play, not a lot. It will fit in the envelope. Let's take a look at the envelope size. Let's lock it back. 9.2467593. That will cut out of it should cut out of an 8.5 by 11 sheet. I have noticed in Design Space that even though some of the things fit, it won't give you the choice of an 8.5 by 11 sheet. That's something I'm sure that they're aware of and working on. We all need to send feedback on that in our feedback area to let them know that even though it should fit on an 8.5 by 11 because it's less than 8 and less than 11, so it should flip and go in there, but most likely it won't. When I tested it, it forced me to an 11 by 17 sheet for no reason. But that should fit, should work easily on a 12 by 12 as well. So that's how you size and get it to fit. We're not going to do this A2 anymore because usually that's not where the problem is. Usually the problem is in your 5 by 7 cards, because when we stretch it to fit, let me move that, oh, got the wrong one. Let me move that to the front so that we can see it. My 5 by 7 card, getting it to fit in this, and this envelope may work because it has the short sides on it, so we may be able to get this particular envelope to work. And I'm going to unlock it just because for me that's easier to size. I've got a little bit of play all the way around the card. Not much, but a little bit, just enough to get it in and out of the card. And this one is the one of the envelopes that will work for the 5 by 7. Of course, like I said, if you notice this side right here is really short. If you go much bigger than that, it's not going to fit. The flap here, if this had a point on it, would not fit because we're already almost at 11 inches and almost at 9 1/4. Well, we're around 9 1/2 there. So this envelope will work for a 5 by 7 and you're going to size it exactly the same. However, let's say you picked one of the fancier envelopes in Design Space and you want to make that fit a 5 by 7 card. We'll unlock it and stretch. Well, it didn't unlock, did it? Let's unlock that. I'm going to reduce the size just a little bit so we can see on screen and start trying to size that to fit. There are a few of the fancier envelopes that will work. There aren't many, but there are ways around it. As you can see, this one's at 11.29 by 11.10, so it will fit that 5 by 7. If it had a little bit more of a pointed side here, what you can do is, if it looks like it's going to, what I try to do is insert a shape. That's going to be the easiest way to tell you. We know this is a 5 by 7 area here. So if that tail, that's 3 inches, so I know it's going to come in 3 inches. It's going to give me a little bit of overlap here. I can cut or slice off about 1 inch of that and still get this envelope to work because it's going to be to the inside. This flap will fold over and hide the fact that we shaved part of that off. So that's one way to make one of the fancier envelopes work for you if it doesn't work. But I know this one does with the curved edges because I've used it. Let me get that one out of the way. We don't need this one. We know that one works. Let's see. Let's go with one of these that has the long tail so I can show you what I mean. This is actually set up for a square envelope, but you can stretch them. It has a liner, etc. So some people do want the fancier envelopes. I unlocked that. Let me rotate that 90 degrees so that we have it the way we need it. There we go. And I'm going to reduce a little bit more because this one's a little trickier. And I'm unlocked and I'm stretching that to fit my envelope, and that's the envelope liner, so you don't want to get confused. You want to stay inside these dotted score lines, so that envelope would still be really huge. Because the liner is going to adjust with it. Okay, now that I have it sized to fit, you can see that that's 15 inches, almost 15.75. So we know that that envelope will not work. It'll work one way, but the length is just way too long. So what you can do, because it has these side flaps here, you can trim part of this off. I don't recommend it because it's going to show, because this is your outside flap. If you'll look at other envelopes, the way they're made, these two flaps come to the inside. This one folds up. So if you trim 3 inches off of that for it to fit, it's going to stop right here, and then this is going to come down. The only way I would do that is if I could match this shape by slicing it out of a shape and then slicing it here to make it match where it looks like it was meant to be that way. But I don't recommend it. I recommend finding another envelope. And that's, like I said, if you stick with envelopes that have these short sides and these flaps, sometimes you can use a die cut and cut a fancy edge on these. But they will fit the 5x7s and stay within that 11.5 by 11.5 area. These will probably work too, so we don't need those. And if you want to dress your envelope up a little bit, what I normally do is, because I have some play area on some of these, as you saw, we sized it, it fit in the size area that we needed it to fit. This one is going to be one that does not. Even though it looks like it might, it's just not working for a 5x7. There it goes. I need to stretch it a little bit. So now it's fitting in there. So let's dress up that edge a little bit to get you that fancy envelope that has the scalloped edge. Let's look for Scalloped Edge. Let's see what pulls up there. Maybe nothing. We may have to search again. And you can see some of these have this, but you see how it's extended out a lot more. We can do that one and change it up. I think there's a little bit prettier one. There we go. We'll select that one and insert the image. And now I'm going to change that to, let's just stretch it and see what I need. There we go. And I'm going to flip this horizontally. And let's just make it fit onto the envelope at the score lines. You want it to fit at the score lines, which is going to make it about 7 inches. Let's just change that to a 7 in height, and there we go. And I'm going to bring it, align it to the left. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hide that bottom layer and actually select it and delete it. I don't need it. I don't need my card size anymore, so we can delete that as well. But my envelope, I need to select and detach. I need to detach those score lines, but I don't want to move them. And that's sticking off a little bit. I think that'll be okay. Then we're going to select the envelope, move it to the back so we can see. And I am just move your score lines to the back. That way you don't have to deal with them and selecting the wrong thing. Select both of those. Slice it. Oops, I messed up. I left out a step. Let me undo that. Undo. And now I want to unlock it. And I not really unlock it. We can replace that. I don't need it in the way. Let's see. I'm at 7 inches. Let's insert a shape, a square. I could have used the square that I deleted that I had my envelope sized for, but I forgot my step here. And we're going to slice off that edge. Now let's delete the rest of this. I may have picked the wrong, I think I did. I picked the wrong one. I'll see if I can make this one work. I don't think this image that I picked is the one that will work, but we're going to try it. Insert the shape, a square. Okay. There we go. All right, now we're ready. And then we're going to insert another shape. And we're only going to trim off about a 1/2 inch off this edge. Actually 0.889, if you can see the width of this one. So we're going to make this 0.889 here and make it 7 inches long here. Oh, didn't unlock, did it? 0.889. Here we go. And it's the same width. We're going to put it here, select the envelope. We are going to align left and align either top or bottom. It does matter because of the flaps. So just make sure that you've got both ends covered and align left, and then slice. And we're going to remove that, and that's just so that we can keep the proportion of our envelope. And then we're going to line this up. Make sure you get it lined up well. You may have to stretch it just a tiny bit just to make sure that your edges here meet, so you don't have it so it's not clipped. Then you're going to select both pieces. I don't want to pick up that score box. And we're going to weld. And now we have that decorative edge on the envelope. And it is 11.28 by 971. It will still fit the 5 by 7. And if you'll look at this score line, it's 5.2 by 7.13. That's to allow your wiggle room. Line up that corner here if you've moved yours, and just reattach it. But I'm going to show you another quick trick just in case you accidentally deleted yours. You can insert a shape, make it a square, change it to, unlock it, and change it to a 5.15 to say a 7.15. You can place it in the envelope there. Come over to your layers panel, click on the scissors, click score, and now you have a score line. All you have to do is attach it. So if you ever accidentally delete it, don't worry. If your envelope is sized the right way, you can just use a square and create your score lines just by changing it from cut to score. And that's how you size an envelope and change it to a decorative edge for a 5x7 and staying within the 11.5 by 11.5 area. I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you learned something from it today. If you liked my video, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Join our Facebook group, Cricut-Crafting with April. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me or leave something in the comments. I'll get to you as quickly as I possibly can and answer your questions. Use my links below for shopping. That helps me create videos and bring them to you. And you have a wonderful, wonderful crafting day.